Spider-Man Far From Home, the next entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and a sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming, or correction, the sequel to Avengers Endgame. Yes, taking place after the events of that film, and just a major heads up here, spoilers for that film if you haven't seen it, so if you don't want spoilers and you haven't seen that film, then turn the video off right now. Otherwise, I'm assuming at this point you've seen that film or you don't care about spoilers. Let's get on with it. Yes, as I said, taking place exactly after the events of that film, and, well, starting off with a rather touching video of, well, some of the main characters that we lost in that film. So, yes, this is the most major spoilers for that film in general. Black Widow, Vision, well, Captain America sort of, but not really, because, well, he just goes back in time and lives out the rest of his life from, post-World War II into today, and he's still alive, he's just an old man. And most importantly, Iron Man. Yes, we will miss these characters times 3,000. Very touching entry video and perfect way to start out, showing, the events of what happened in Infinity War and how it unfolded and ended in Endgame. So, perfect start. Peter Parker, played by Tom Holland himself, is trying to live a normal everyday life, trying to get in a relationship with MJ. It's a different MJ, as you noticed in Spider-Man Homecoming. She's not the same one that you remember. She's Michelle Jones, I believe that's what her full name is. And basically he's trying to start a relationship with her, and, well, he's on a class summer vacation to Europe. So, yeah, a lot of people have compared this movie to European Vacation because of all the traveling they do around Europe, but I don't know, I think otherwise. So, does this film really hold up to its rather mixed reactions it's been getting from critics, or is it a lot better? I thought it was pretty enjoyable for the most part. Okay, well, I'll keep maximum spoilers to a minimal. I'll only go as far as, midway spoilers, but spoiler-free first part of this video right here, and I'll let you know when I'm going to get into the real spoilers, explaining the plot and how it unfolds over the course of the film at a certain point. So, yeah, basically they're on a trip to Europe. He's trying to get into a relationship, as I said, with MJ, and it's believable for the most part. It's got its quirks, it's got its humor. He's got his friend Ned. Everything's back to normal. His Aunt May's trying to look out for him, because if you saw the end of Spider-Man Homecoming, a little bit of a spoiler there, she already knows he's Spider-Man. You got Happy, and he's trying to get him to be the next Tony Stark, even though, yeah, it's kind of the complete opposite of the other film. He doesn't want to take up the Avengers' responsibility. And if you saw in the trailer, Nick Fury obviously interrupts the whole trip and wants him to get involved with the whole Avengers mission, involving our main villain, or I should say mentor, as you're expecting, Mysterio, played by Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah, he's a pretty complex character, and it's pretty simple at first, but the way it unfolds is, well, not too bad, actually. You might be disappointed, you might not be. It depends on which way you look at it. It depends on what you're expecting. So, yeah, in a way, it's not as good as Homecoming. I mean, he's not the villain that you'd expect. I am glad to see Hydro Man and, of course, Molten Man, which are supposed to be the main villains. But in a way, again, you might be a little disappointed at some parts of this film. So, yeah, it may not give you what you're expecting for the most part, especially compared to Homecoming. But for what it is, it's got good action. It's got good, likable characters. And the relationship between him and MJ is pretty believable for the most part. I mean, like I said, she's not the same one from the other film. She's more of a different attitude type of character. And I didn't mind it, It's a different take, and Tom Holland, once again, definitely does a great job trying to live a normal everyday life. As I said, completely opposite. We're trying to take on the whole Avengers thing like he was trying to do in Spider-Man Homecoming. Just trying to live like a normal everyday friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Alright, now I'm going to get into spoiler territory right here. Nothing major, but I will give away a little bit. Alright, second, yes, Mysterio. Revealing over the course of the film, you may think he's more of a mentor than an actual villain, but you find out he actually is a villain, and that's where you may be a little disappointed right there, because eventually you find out the whole time he was backstabbing Stark Industries and the whole Avengers, and we've kind of seen this before, so that's where you may be a little bit disappointed. Yeah, I mean, we've seen these kind of villains in the first 3 Iron Man movies. They're just, working behind his back, getting revenge against him, even though this time, of course, he's gone, but basically they're trying to show off and look like a hero. That's what he's trying to do, when really he's just a villain. He kind of reminds me of Syndrome on the first Incredibles movie a little bit, because, yeah, you might be disappointed to find out that the whole Hydro Man and Molten Man and all that stuff is just an illusion that he creates. And that's what he does with all his technology and all the Stark drones. And basically he's trying to seize control of the whole thing. So it's an interesting idea, I will admit. So you might be disappointed at first, and it does a little bit of that, mind screwy type of thing, kind of like in Doctor Strange. I mean, it kind of reminded me of that whole scene where it's all craziness, and it even gets a little dark with the whole zombie Iron Man thing rising from the grave. I mean, that was kind of intense right there for the most part. And it was kind of an interesting mind game right there. So, in a way, you might be disappointed to find out what he really is and what his intentions are, because you've kind of seen this before. But in a way, it works out. It does make for some pretty good action sequences, which I will admit. A rather humorous but silly quote there, with the Peter tingles senses, and all that nonsense. But the fight scenes are good. I mean, you do get some action, some good humor. I mean, yeah, you got what he thinks is Led Zeppelin, but it's really AC/DC. I mean, I like the AC/DC song Back in Black thrown in there. That's a nice touch there. And it's got a lot of good stuff. As I said, he travels around Europe and everything like that, and the way it's played out, it works in a way, but as I said, not as good as Homecoming. So that's what you'd expect. But overall, I enjoyed it. I can't say I was expecting a lot, but for an over 2-hour runtime, I was thoroughly entertained. And the relationship between him and MJ, it unfolds itself pretty well for the most part, and I enjoyed it. So, yeah, some silly stuff, some great action, and overall, I was pretty pleased with this film. Yeah, I can't say I was expecting something as good as Homecoming, but I was pretty satisfied. It's Spider-Man just the way you'd like it. I especially like the end credits sequence, which was cool. The song Vacation, All I Ever Wanted was a nice touch to it. And yes, there even is a mid-credit scene, which can be a bit of a surprise. I wouldn't dare give it away, but if you've seen the ones with Tobey Maguire, you might kind of have a little bit of a connection to it right there with one of the actors that you see in there. But I think it gives a little too much away too fast. But as I said, I wouldn't dare give that away. And yes, there's even one after the credits, which does give a little bit away, which may disappoint, but yeah, it's up to you whether you want to stay after to see that one. It's not pointless like the one for the first Avengers movie, but you may want to stick around for it. So, otherwise, yeah, a pretty decent Spider-Man movie. Far from home, and sometimes you gotta get away from home. Be the same neighborhood Spider-Man, even in overseas. So, nice entry to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and as we know, I highly doubt it's gonna be the last. After all, we're getting one that I thankfully most of us were begging for, a prequel film about Black Widow, and even Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, or as Guardians of the Galaxy, I should say, if you've seen Endgame. But otherwise, this film, it's Spider-Man, and it's just the way I liked it. Glad I saw it. Otherwise, I give it a Rockin' Wii Remote Wii Motion Plus up, and the Playing Wii Remote up. Good fun. So, till next time, keep watching.